Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy, the 33, welcoming you back to another episode, the Anarchy Analysis game coverage. We're covering today G2 versus Rogue, and as you can see, Rogue are on the blue side for this game, and G2 are on red. This is game 5 of their best of 5 from last weekend, and we've got a lot to talk about as we come into this game. Expect target bans towards caps from Rogue side of things, and expect a lot of ADC bans from G2. And what do you know? There's the first ADC ban, and there's the first mid lane ban. Caps izlogic will not be allowed into this game, as well as two big ADCs in the Ezreal and Kate, and now the Ashe. So, bot lane bans coming out from Rogue here, and G2 banning out a couple of their own. Now, I would expect this last ban maybe to be thrown towards top lane, maybe something safe, and no, it's just going to be the Callisto. So, available picks in that bot lane have gone down quite considerably, but Senna's still available for G2 if they want it, and realistically there isn't many other options for Rogue to fall to as their ADC here. And if I'm G2, I'm probably thinking he may have just given Hansama one of his favourite picks in the Draven, and that's one of his big picks that he goes towards in these sorts of situations, and I think G2 are trying to bait it out, considering the fact that they've got an Akali on Rogue side, which is very aggressive. There's the very safe option of the Senna for G2, and the Hecarim, which will be charging forward, and what do you know? There's the Draven. A lot of aggression coming through from Rogue's draft so far. Nautilus, an aggressive support who wants to set up plays. Draven, an aggressive ADC who wants to get kills. Akali, a very aggressive mid laner who wants to get killed. A lot of kill hungry champions on Rogue's side of the map, which G2 have actually drafted a lot of safety. They've got Senna, who can provide healing, who does a lot of damage towards the late game, but she's all about protecting the team mostly as an ADC. Yankos' Hecarim, which will charge forward, get kills, and do a lot of work, but isn't that kill hungry, I would say. He wants to probably just farm up and play for late. And then you have Mickey Slash, who can be aggressive, but is very defensive as a support with the Dark Passage to keep his ADC or whoever safe from kills. Band-wise now for Phase 2, I'd expect some more target bans from Rogue towards the mid lane, considering the fact that Senna was already locked in by G2. I would say maybe a Zoe, maybe a Syndra ban from Rogue here as their last ban. And G2 banning out the GP, a safe top laner for Finn, and the Set, a playmaking jungler. Now, if I'm Rogue, I'm probably thinking maybe going for this Graves, or even a Kha'Zix for Inspired here, as this jungle pick for them, because they've already got the Akali for the mid lane that could technically be flex, I know, but you look at the available AD mid laners, there's very little that you could realistically go for that would be viable in pro play. Now, G2 side of things, they blind pick the Shen. Makes sense, means that it's very easy for G2 to get a favourable matchup across the map and protect that Senna from the Draven kill pressure. And I would love to see the Mordekaiser for Rogue. It would make sense. It would mean though they'd have to go with the AD jungler route, which would make a lot more sense. But they've gone with the Saatrox. Not a fan. I don't remember the last time I saw an Aatrox in pro. It would have probably been at the start of this split, but even then it's not that strong of a champion. It's received a lot of nerfs, especially when Dev's stance was nerfed considerably. It's not a very powerful pick, and I get why with the Lilia coming through, why you'd go for the Aatrox top, but you could still go with Yorn. You could still even go with the Sion or an Urgot. and have a bit of AD damage that way, and be threatening through that. You'd have a frontliner as well, because this team comp that Rogue's got, you've got realistically one frontliner in the Naught, but you look at G2 side of things, you've got Shen, you've got a Hecarim, even the Thresh are partly frontliners. Rogue have got to go through a Syndra as well to execute. You think Syndra's Scatter Week's just going to push back this Aatrox, just going to push back the Akali and the Lilia, so they're not going to be as threatening. Even the Nautilus gets pushed back. Whereas Rogue are relying on this Draven to get kills and be a big threat into the late game. This is going to be a very close game, though I do feel that G2 got the better of the draft here as we load into game number 5 for Rogue versus G2. And onto the Rift we go. Let's take a look-see at these ruins as the lovely up arrow appears. I'm looking towards this bot lane more importantly. Draven versus Senna. And I look at these ruins. Sorry, not ruins, these summoners. It's cleanse Draven and heal Senna. So, the big thing to note about that is there's no TPs in the bot lane. And as such, it's going to be very interesting to note that cleanse on Draven is huge. It means that he has not got the kill pressure or a heal, i.e. he hasn't got an ignite to get kill credit, and he doesn't have heal to keep himself alive. He just wants to go full aggression with that cleanse, because it allows him to step up a bit more frequently into the Senna. And if he gets hit by a W or a death sentence, he can just immediately press that button, keep himself alive and not dealing with any sort of pressure. Now, jungle matchup, we do see these two behemoths in the jungle as Jankos inspired the Polish junglers. Starting on the same side of the map, Jankos on his red though, and Lilia on her blue. And I'd expect Lilia to possibly look for an invade early into Jankos' jungle in order to get maybe a double buff, if not raptors or wolves, maybe even Gromp, to get himself a bit more of an advantage, because Lilia is excellent at clearing camps and will do this very effectively, especially into a Hecarim who has got a fairly slow clear, though it isn't the easiest of clearing champions. Obviously you can spin your blade with Q, which is based on movement, but what do you know, Lilia's invaded early and she's grabbing herself a blue buff. Now G2 may look to respond here as Mickey's roamed around, but the Draven and the Nautilus have already come up to the G2 jungle to allow Lilia an easy secure. And here's the thing about this bot lane matchup. Draven, because he's got so much kill pressure and does so much, he can just step up quite aggressively into this G2 bot lane, and they have to play considerably safe in order to farm, as we already see in the mid wave. Actually, we haven't looked at mid wave yet. Mid wave, it's fairly interesting because they both run TP. Syndra's going to have a lot of pressure on the map. She should be favoured in this matchup early because Akali, realistically, doesn't become a champion until she gets her Gunblade. And she also needs a few kills to have some relevancy so that she has enough energy to do anything on the map. Now, bot side, this Lilia is going to get herself a Scuttle. Whereas top side, I know that Hecarim's going to secure his. As bot wave, we are seeing Vander and Draven stepping forward here as there's engage onto Mickey. He's going to get killed off here. Flash forward from Draven, gets exhausted, but the first blood goal goes over to Rogue as Vander picks that up with his trusty little ignite. And Senna, you may be in trouble here because Lilia's around. G2 going to have to try and respond as the TP comes out from Caps here. This is worth if I'm Rogue, as you burnt the flash off the Senna and the heal. And you also got the TP out of the Syndra. big play coming out from Rogue to get this early game kicked off here. And that is going to be huge considering the fact that this Draven got an assist. He's already got his Vampiric Scepter. He's going to be very good at sustaining through the laning phase. And he'll be looking to get maybe a few more kills towards this latter part of the game. Because if you don't know what Draven's passive is, he collects stacks of adoration. These stacks are very important because they give gold when you cash out. Now, how do you get stacks? Catching one of your spinning blades is one way. Getting a kill on a minion is a way. And I do believe if you hit a champion with one, you may get it. Anyway, we can look towards this top lane matchup now. And Shen is going aggressive. Hecarim shows. Aatrox is going to have to play quite safe here as his E pulls back Shen so he can just dash himself away out of that. And realistically, he cannot go back to base just yet because he's in threat of dying as bot wave. The Dark Passage keeps this bot lane for G2 safe as we may see a 3-man dive towards this top lane. Though G2 know that Lilia is about, so they can't realistically go for play as Dredgeline bot lane is going to land for Vander and Draven throwing out the blades. But G2 stepping back forward now. They're putting a lot of aggression down onto this Draven, which is actually a surprise to me because you wouldn't expect them to be doing this as once again Dredgeline's going to land. The Dark Passage once again keeps Perks alive as a flash forward from Vander. He's looking to go engage here as Senna is trying to walk away here slowly but surely, but here comes the horsey. He's charging forward. That's going to be the first kill of this game for G2 as it goes over to Senna as top side. Wonder is going in onto this Aatrox. He flashes forward to get the kill, and that is going to be 2 kills for G2 here, getting their early game going now. And that's also level 6 for the Shen. He's going to be able to now protect this bot lane a bit more as the Dark Passage once again being used to perfection by G2 to keep this Senna in a good position against this Draven. And we look at the gold across the map. Draven's behind now and top lane, oh no. 900 gold advantage for the Shen against Aatrox. And this Shen matchup is only going to get worse for the Aatrox because later into the game, Shen's going to be so hard to deal with in the side lanes. He's going to be just split pushing constantly if he's able to. And just pressuring the Aatrox constantly. He's going to be hard to deal with as mid-wave. We are seeing a bit of engage scatter a week. It's going to land. And a bit of damage from the 9-point strike from the Akali. Keeps herself alive and topped up as top side. Hecarim going to hover in this bush. Waiting for the Aatrox to come into him. And he's just going to run away. That's all he needs to do. Procs the phase rush and runs. As Lilia obviously was about. She could have easily joined that fight and made it very, I would say, rogue advantage. Because Lilia does so much more damage than Hecarim early. Even if the Hecarim does have a slight lead, I would still favour the Lilia in that matchup as once again another taunt from Wonderland, and he's just winning out this fight against Finn. He has not been able to play this game in this series at all, and it's a bit of a shock considering he's on the first seed team in the LEC. And with Lilia taking this Herald, we may see an engage in the midway for G2. The charge forward is going to knock the Akali out of her Twilight Shroud. And the fear from the onslaught of shadows pushes Akali back under a turret to safety. And with that pressure mid, G2 can look to roam towards this Herald. Though the Aatrox has roamed down first, the smite is going to go in favor of this Lilia. And Hecarim may have to run here as the Nautilus for Rogue has roamed up here. Mickey stayed bot. They're looking to get a bit of pressure on this bot lane turret for G2. Though the Herald gets picked up here by Finn. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. The top laner with the Herald is not a huge thing if I am Rogue. Because Finn yes, if he gets gold out of it, he'll be closing himself back in onto Wunder and making it a bit more of a even matchup. But if I'm Finn, I want that gold into Hans Sammer's back pocket instead of an Aatrox, as Draven needs the gold to be very, very threatening, because he already is. He's got a lot of CS. He's already picked up an advantage. He's just picked up a turret plate. Whereas Finn is being bullied heavily by Wunder. And what do I think Rogue will do with this Herald? Well, they're either going to roam their bot lane up to top in order to get some turret plating in this top lane. And what do you know? We see Nautilus heading up there, and also the Draven's going there on your mini-maps. It makes sense to do this to get some pressure top to alleviate Finn, and also give the turret plate gold over to Hans Sammer. That's what you want as top side. Wunder is just forced back. Once you see Nautilus on the control ward, you know you have to back away, because his bot lane friend is going to roam up here. What do you know? 4 men top. They now have confirmation that it's 4, and G2 may look to respond here. Wunder is the side map you need to attack, because he cannot stand united to safety realistically here. As the Dredgeline is going to land onto Mickey, he's going to flay the Nautilus back under the turret. His re-engage as 2 TBs come through, and that's the Whirling Death over for Draven, picking up the first kill of this fight. And G2 get a return kill. Caps picks it up onto Nautilus, and over the wall, here comes the Hecarim, charging forward with that onslaught of shadows. And I'm sorry, Larson, you're about to die here, as TP coming out from the Aatrox towards this bot lane. He's looking to get something here. And what is G2 going to also get is that's 2-for-1 trade in the long run. And Aatrox is bot side. He TP bot quite quickly, so it means for me to think that maybe he's dropping the Herald down there. And yes, he is. Though Mickey, because he died, he's already able to roam down here and already deal a lot of damage to this Herald. It's more than likely going to die to a couple of turret shots now. And 2 turret plates go over to this Aatrox, putting him back into this race. As we watch this fight again, Dredgeline into the flay from the Thresh, pulls the Nautilus under the turret. He's forced to go into status. Once he comes out, he's met by an orb from the Syndra. So a trade kills there, as over the wall comes the onslaught of shadows into this Akali, who's forced to try and run away with the perfect execution, but Hecarim's just too quick. He's able to catch up to her quite quickly. The Senna, using her Q to get a bit of healing down and an assist onto the kill there, means G2 get a lot out of that play from Rogue. And you don't realistically think G2 would get much out of that, considering they were engaged on quite heavily and were already a kill down exceptionally quick. But G2 get everything out of that play, and with that massive play topside and the pressure of the Draven Naught top, it forces G2 to respond to them, and thus the Lilia can take this Cloud Drake relatively free. Hecarim is around, but I don't think he'll go to it as Finn disconnects from the game, as well as Hans Sammer. That is not a good thing. And Inspired. Okay, so Rogue now not in the game anymore. Though we are seeing a Hecarim. He's hovering around bot. He hasn't been spotted because of minion wave positioning. Though I don't think he'll look for a play here, because Finn is quite far back in terms of his lane position away from the wave. He's playing very respectful. He knows that something's up. And G2 don't get a kill bot side, sadly, for them. Though it does mean a bit more pressure and a massive CS advantage for this Shen. It's 40 CS now in favour of this Shen pick, who has built Execution as calling for his first big item, though bot side. Draven's here, and the ult is used by the Aatrox to engage onto Shen, though the taunt back to his turret's safety means that Wonder gets out alive, and Rogue just gonna get a bit more turret damage. The Whirling Death gonna be casted out, looking to this minion wave, I do believe. There we go. Lovely use, clears the entire wave, means that G2 get realistically nothing, and they aren't able to get first turret gold for themselves, though Rogue managed to do so as Draven picks that up for himself and is going to walk back to safety. As we look at the total gold of things, 1.2k advantage for Hans Sama over the next nearest, and that's Perks now, who's just got the turret gold, and G2 also going to get the second Herald. Though the Swirl Seed comes through, Draven is going to hit his E, forcing the damage onto the Shen, but the Dredge line misses, and that just means that Shen has to taunt himself back under his turret, keep himself alive, farm up with his Tiamat, and just play safe. Can't do too much when there's a Draven in your face, though the Nautilus, if you want to, could probably have engaged under the turret there, and maybe looked for the kill onto Wonder once he used his W just then. Though mid, we are seeing 3 members hovering. Caps is going to go back to base, meaning that this mid wave is going to go into Perks' back pocket now for the foreseeable future. And now topside, Aatrox is in danger. He's walking over a G2 ward, going into the alcove now, and Hecarim's just going to charge him into this corner. He goes over the wall into the loving arms of Caps. The onslaught of shadows into the spirit of dread means that the Hecarim picks up the kill. Mid lane though, the Littening Lullaby gets used, and then it's a Stand United response from this Shen. Means that G2 keep Mickey alive, and it's a 1-0 in favour of G2 after a lovely play top. Catching out the overstepped Finn means that G2 can apply more pressure onto this map and get themselves further and further ahead. And the actual impressive thing for me here is the fact that the Senna is down 20 CS on this Draven, where you expect the Draven to have ballooned that actual CS lead. It's now very close, and I'm actually surprised by that, because you wouldn't have thought this CS would be this close, and especially now when the both laners are in the same lane for once. It's been a while since we've seen the Draven versus Senna matchup, as they've been just switching lanes constantly to avoid each other, I would say. And that's only benefited, in my opinion, 2 people on this actual map. 1, Wonder. 2, Hans Sama. I would say it benefits when they're not in the same lane, because Wonder could just roam about, get more CS than this Aatrox, and just threaten the map. Hans Sama just roams the map, gets CS in all lanes, gets all the adoration stacks he needs, and if he gets a kill, that's a massive cash out for him. As mid-side, we are going to see a bit of engage here from the 2 lanes, as over the wall comes Vander. He uses his flash there, but gets absolutely nothing as the dredge line misses, and I don't think he wanted that to actually hit, because he would have more likely died. Though we are seeing G2 looking to engage here onto Draven, going to use the full abilities as a Scatter Weak forces the cleanse out from Draven and the flash. Though Rogue pick up the second Drake of the game, and that just means that G2 get pressure mid, with them essentially bullying the Draven out of lane because of the 4-man stack. They can just essentially get this turret pretty much for free. They're more than likely going to kill it, and Draven is going to be forced away from this blue buff here, and that's the first mid-tier 1 falling in favour of G2 for their second turret of the game. Looking closely now at the gold, a slight advantage over for G2, only a 1k gold lead. That's essentially a couple of turrets in favour of them, though a big cash out from the Draven would probably propel Rogue into the lead here. And that would be huge for them. But G2 just having their hands on control. They've got the more favourable top lane matchup, as Aatrox realistically has done absolutely nothing in this game and has been just constantly bullied by Wunder, who's now up to 56 CSD. And I would say, if I was Rogue and I was rewatching the series, I would have considered their top lane matchup a bit more. Like, you can clearly tell they didn't expect G2 to essentially be hard bullying top. Well, they expected probably Wunder to win the matchups. They wouldn't expect it to have been this badly, as Finn realistically hasn't done much. He's been constantly bullied, and G2 haven't allowed him to do anything. And if I was Rogue, maybe you would have looked at the picks that he was playing. He's played Aatrox here in game number 5. Not a big pick considering how weak it is as an option. I forget what he played in the other few games. I think he played GP. They won them games. G2 banned GP. What do you do now? Well, I don't know, as we are seeing Jankos charging forward here onto Hanshammer. He's caught him out. That is a redemption over top Dawn Shadow as well. That is going to be a kill over to Wunder as he kills the Draven, removing them adoration stacks. The Lightning Lullaby gets casted onto 2 to allow Inspire to run away, and that is a tier 2 turret going over to G2, as well as a massive pick out onto Hanshammer, who was just in the wrong positioning, and G2 punish heavily. Jankos' roam just was phenomenal. Once he popped that ghost, you know he's going for a play. And that just gave G2 hands down full control of this game. If they didn't have it before, now they fully control this game. As when a Draven gets killed, it becomes very hard to be a threat once again. And since Hanshammer got his first kill of the game, he probably gained about 70-80 CS. And that would have been huge for him. And that would have essentially meant, if he got a kill, probably about a massive injection of gold. And now that G2 shut that down, it means that there's no massive gold cash out for Hanshammer. And you look at the level progression, yeah, Wunder is quite far ahead. Caps is slowly close behind, as well as Larson. But Wunder is such a threat right now. He's making the god place. He's 2k up on this Aatrox. And you realise that this game is top diff. That's all I have to say about this. And Wunder is just a phenomenal top laner. As G2, roaming up top here, could look to engage onto the members of Rogue that just tried to kill G2, as the Hecarim popped his Speedy Boy, but because the Soul Seed from Lilia hits Baron and chunks down the center, it means that G2 get the no engage, as they don't want to lose their bot laner to a Lilia. Now, 15 seconds till this Mountain Drake spawns. I'd expect G2 to actually contest this if Rogue if Rogue go for it, because they don't want to give over Soul Point to Rogue here. And G2 are just going to get this one for free. Draven obviously stayed topside with no TP. It means that he cannot go to this pit and essentially contest it. And what do you know? First Drake over to G2. Hands-on control of this game, baby. If you're a G2 fan, you've got to be feeling good right now. Though Rogue could bounce back. There is that potential towards the late game where they bounce back. Aatrox is a fabulous late game carry if he gets there. And that is something you have to realize if you're G2 is you've got to be looking to close out soon. You're 24 minutes into the game. Baron is an opportunity for them. They have, honestly, a decent Baron take, I would say. It's not the best because Senna is probably one of the slowest attacking ADCs in the game, and Draven is probably one of the quickest and best at taking a Baron. Though G2 have actually managed to sneak behind Aatrox here. Uh-oh. The Scatter Weak is not going to land. Hecarim's charging forward. The Stand United used, and that's a kill over to Caps as he picks off Finn. And mid, we're seeing Larson being caught out here by the Senna. The Dawning Shadow over the top. Narrowly does not kill it, but the redemption will get the kill. Mickey's going to be laughing about that one, as that's a pretty bad kill to give over. And it only happened because all of the spells from the Akali got used. He used his perfect execution to get away. He used his flash. And he used his E to dodge. Yeah, when you use all your spells that are dodge, all it takes is a perfectly placed redemption to kill you off. So good play coming out from the Thresh to secure the kill for his team. And G2, once again, 8-2 in terms of kills. And this is pretty easy from here if I'm them. As there's not much that this Rogue team can do to claw it back. It would take a miracle team fight in order to actually win anything here on this map. And I'm looking towards these items. You look at the mid lane. Luton's Echo and Spellbinder, 4 Caps. He's going towards his Zhonya's 3rd item. And the Akali just picked up her 2nd item in the Liandry's. She's already got a Gunblade, so she is quite relevant. But it's still only her 2nd item to the pretty much 3rd item of the Syndra, as she's already been on 2 items for quite a while. Now, bot side, we look at the itemization. This Senna has actually slowly but surely gotten herself ahead of this Draven in terms of itemization, as Bloodthirster and IE are in the back pocket of the Draven, whereas 2 lethality items in the Ghostblade and the Dustblade, as well as the Mer mana for this Senna, means that she's ahead. And with these massive advantages across the map for G2, the fans say that Rogue cannot bring this game back and win the series. And I'm honestly in that same boat of the no, they cannot bring it back. It's just too far ahead. There's so much difference here in terms of map pressure, in terms of itemization, in terms of levels. G2 are pretty far ahead. And this Shen, I would account to most of this lead. He's been phenomenal in this series and has just gotten so much done for G2. Like, the Stand United have been on point. The targeting of the taunts have been phenomenal. He solo killed the Aatrox early game. It means that he's so far ahead. And what have Rogue done since? They've tried to make a play bot. They get baited by G2. Yes, they got first blood after a pretty overextended trade, I would say. As you don't want to be diving headfirst into a... you don't want to be caught out, shall we say, by this Nautilus in the early game. And that's what essentially happened, as bot side inhibitor is dying quite quickly. The change from the Aatrox is going to land, forces a flash. Was it the flash? No, it wasn't. It was just the dark passage to safety for Caps there. And G2 get away with murder as they get a lot of turret damage down onto this bot lane inhib turret. And Rogue are starting to step forward here. They feel slightly confident in maybe going for a play onto this Drake. But with no vision of G2, that Drake goes over to them. And it's a tie now in terms of dragon count. as 2 Mountain Drakes are in the back pockets of G2, whereas an Ocean and a Cloud Drake are in the back pockets of Rogue. And this Hecarim, he's looking to dive this Aatrox. He's going to get knocked back. He's going to try and charge him down, but disengages as Aatrox is just too close to the turret, thanks to his ultimate usage to get himself back, keep himself alive. And wow, it feels like only 2 seconds ago, Hecarim was in the bot lane making a play. Look how quick he gets across the map. Like, this is why he's such a powerful champion right now. He can roam the map quite quickly. And, G2 are looking to catch out the Rogue. And this might be the last team fight of the game as TPs across the map come in. This is going to be a 4-man fight here. As maybe not. Rogue just TP in to allow Draven to walk back. The Dredgeline's going to land here and they're going in now. The fight begins and Yakali gets a shutdown onto Caps. That's the 2 kills for Rogue here as Aatrox picks up the 2nd kill of the fight. Dawn Shadow over the top is going to land and then it's the chase down. The Hecarim is in the hot spot of danger as the Dredgeline pulls him in and kills him off. Rogue pick up 3 and they're looking for the 4th here as Shen's being caught out by this Aatrox. He is gonna die here without maybe not picking up a kill. He lands the taunt, forces flash out from Nautilus, and that is a shutdown over to the Draven. He gets a cash out finally, and Rogue turned to Baron, though the Senna picks up a kill in response onto this Nautilus who is flashless. She's looking to make a miracle play here and try and steal this Baron away. Though I don't think it will work as Rogue have their jungler alive, and the Baron goes down. And Rogue pick it up. And this is that miracle play, ladies and gentlemen, I alluded to. As Rogue get themselves back into this game. Getting the kills up to 6-9 as we watch this fight again. So G2 spot Hans Summer out. They roam up all 4 to 5 members and TP comes in from Caps. He walks forward here, looking to try and engage. And Rogue are like, okay, we've bent all our TPs, you've bent all yours, let's walk him out. But Cap steps forward, he was in front of his carries, unable to protect himself, and Senna wasn't even in this fight. He was forced away very quickly here, Perks. He didn't get to do much thanks to that lightning lullaby, put him to sleep, and now a lovely Q from Aatrox forces the flash out from Wonder, and because he couldn't get over the wall, the chase down from Rogue secures the 4th kill of this fight and gets themselves this Baron onto 4 members. As we look at the damage for that fight, wow. I've been complaining about Finn all game here, but that fight, he popped off. He did so much work there for his team and honestly performed it to perfection. Though I don't agree with his picks, it's still working, I guess, in this mid-game. Late game, I'm going to be intrigued to see how it works, because that's when the champion realistically comes online. But as I say, Rogue now have turned this game around. With this Baron, they're going to get quite a few standing turrets on this map, and they're probably going to keep chucking the gold over to Hans Summer as we look at the live gold difference. Yeah, ever since the 30-minute mark, G2's gold has rapidly decreased, and right now that blue line's overtaken as G2 looking to fight here. Hecarim's charging forward. He gets hit by Dredgeline. He onslaughts the shadows in. He's landed onto Hans Summer. He's getting bursted out though too quickly, and that is going to be a kill over to Rogue here. They get caught out. Taunt lands onto this Akali, and G2 back away. That's a 1-0 here so far, though the stopwatch is popped on Inspired. He's forced low. The Lightning Lullaby lands onto 2, and G2 get away with 4 members here, and they're still looking to fight this, forcing Rogue back even more, and Hecarim getting hit by this Dredgeline in this fight, executing him off. So we watch this again. Senna using her speed to get this Hecarim into the fight. He gets hit by Dredgeline, stunned up, and here comes Caps. He's nowhere near this fight. And because of that, the 5 members of Rogue are just able to burst down this Hecarim without any contest. Heka doesn't do much, as we see in the bot side map. G2 setting up for this Mountain Drake here. And that is a big thing. Shen is spotted out. He spots out, though, this Aatrox who's hovering. And Rogue know that this Drake is being started up here by G2. They're going to kick it up. The whirling blades from Draven will not steal the Drake. And that's Soul Point over to G2 here. And G2 looking to get themselves back into the game that they had firm control over. And I'm actually amazed as we look at this gold graph. Where's Wonder? He was leading the gold moments ago. Now he's sat down in 5th. 2 members of Rogue have just shot up to the top. Hansama, after getting a couple of cash outs there, and then Larson. Larson has slowly but surely been farming up this game. He's been caught out twice, and he's still showing up. He's performing quite well in this game, in my opinion. G2, what do they need to do to get themselves back into this game? Well, with the next Mountain Drake spawning in 4 minutes, that's probably going to be the next team fight. I don't think either of these 2 teams will fight over Baron. That becomes less of a priority when there's a Mountain Soul up for grabs. And Mountain Soul on this G2 lineup, that favours 3 people, in my opinion. Shen, Hecarim, and Thresh. They're your 3 engaged champions if you're G2. Those resistances become very, very valuable that Mountain Soul gives you. And realistically, it's going to be very hard for this Rogue team to fight back to front when you've got so many G2 members diving at you, looking to threaten your lives with a lot of ease. And as such, it's going to be quite nice to see this next team fight, because there's going to be a lot of action. And I'm intrigued to see who comes out on top, because that death cap from Caps just came through. He is getting pretty close to hitting max items. As what do you know, he's got another Medjai's, ladies and gentlemen. One of his favourite items, in my opinion. He loves to stack up. And he's also holding on to a stopwatch there as well. Both mid laners have a stopwatch right now. That is a huge thing to note, because if he's targeted by Rogue, if he gets hit by a Rogue dredge line, if you pardon the pun, it means that he can just pop it, keep himself alive long enough in a fight so that he doesn't get CC chained to death, and as such, make sure he can pump out damage when the fight continues, when he gets out of that status. Now, Baron is alive right now. G2 probably gonna get this Scuttle Crab so that there's no real contest towards this pit. And in my opinion, you wouldn't expect Rogue to go anywhere near it. With 1 minute left, roughly, on this Mountain Drake spawn, G2 gonna move down towards this bot half of the map. They've already got the wave pushing, I do believe. Especially now that Wonder's roaming down there to ensure it's pushing. Mid-wave is just frozen here. I would say it's going to get killed by G2 eventually. And Shen is pushing down this bot wave. It's going to force Finn to have to come down and respond to it. But obviously, you look at this top lane. If I was G2 or Rogue, I would want to push that wave right now. I would send Finn up top. I would send Wonder up top if I'm G2. Maybe even Caps. And I would push in that wave. So you force Rogue or G2 to go respond to clear it out. Then when they send members, you take an objective. That's how you play the map right now. You force G2 to respond to something. You force Rogue to respond to something. You get something. And that's the key to this. And right now, Rogue pushing in this mid-wave, going to get that going. And they get priority over the pit right now with 20 seconds to spare. G2 have not got that much vision around this pit. They've got one ward in the river, and that's it. Rogue has swept out and cleared out any vision G2 have. And with a few seconds to spare, TP gets used by Caps here to come to mid to keep himself alive. And there's another TP. That's going to be Wonder TPing. Probably looking to fight here. Is looking to Speedy Boy come in. He's looking to run at Rogue. There's a ward in the pit now. The blue trinket gets used by G2. Cap, the death sentence is not going to land from Mickey. And Hecarim's in the pit. He's just going to execute that. That's soul over to G2. Depth charge is going to land onto Shen. He's just able to take Dark Passage safety. Finn gets hooked by death sentence. And Rogue and G2 disengage. And G2 with Mountain Soul, they can turn straight to Baron. They've got the advantage of being on this side of the map first. And Rogue, what can they do here to stop this? They're going to have to come up and contest. Whereas G2 setting up quite nicely for this take. Blue trinket is used by Rogue. They know what's going on. Mickey tanks a Swirl Seed, making sure his carries do not get hit by it. Death Sentence isn't going to land, but the Dredgeline will, and G2 get the Baron here. The Redemption gets used, and that keeps G2 topped up. The Dawning Shadow gets used over top, and Larson is going to fall now to this Hecarim, shutting him down. G2 also lose Mickey to this Draven, and this is a fight won for G2 as they walk away with 4 Barons on their lineup with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to crack open the base of Rogue. And I'm amazed that that fight went quite even, in my opinion. 2 teams showed up there in that fight, but I want to take a look at that Drake fight once again if we do get a replay. I want to see how easy it is for Hecarim to just walk into the pit. Because to me, it looked like he just strolled through one side of the pit, executed a Drake, strolled back out the same side he entered through, without any contest. Like, if I'm Vander, I'd be guarding that entrance to the pit. I would stand on top of the Drake, make sure this Hecarim cannot just burst it out like it did, and protect his team, essentially. He could easily have depth charged Hecarim, because he also used the depth charge onto the Shen as soon as the Drake was taken. And that actually amazed me that G2 were able to just easily waltz into that pit. What was the front line of Rogue doing? And that is essentially why we see right now Rogue having to sit in their base behind their inhib turrets as G2 start to crack them open, using these cannon minions to essentially protect, well, to do damage to these structures of Rogue. And with that top lane inhibitor falling, G2 just rotate over to this mid lane one. Gonna crack open the inhib turret. And Senna, I don't know why we're seeing that picture in picture, but I think we're gonna see it now as the Dawning Shadow gets used and executes off Nautilus. That's a mid lane inhibitor falling here for G2. And they're going to look to crack this Nexus open right now as the the Death Sentence isn't going to land. The Swirling Blades will. And G2 posturing forward, clearing out the minions to allow their charged up Baron empowered minions to crack this base. Another Death Sentence goes wide. Redemption is used by G2 to top themselves up. Lilia steps forward, and G2 go in. Shen's going to land his taunt onto 2, and that forces Lilia into status. Hans Summer is on his loan. G2 caught him out. That is going to be a shutdown onto him, and this is G2 winning this fight. They've now isolated this Aatrox. Akali charges forward, looking to burst out this Thresh. Will not do so, and that's a double kill over to this Hecarim, and there's a 3rd kill of this fight for G2, make that the 4th, and this is going to be the execution of Rogue's base as Dredgeline forward from Nautilus puts him in danger. That is the ace for G2. They are ending this game right now, and winning this semi-final matchup, eliminating Rogue from playoffs in a huge Game 5 for them. Once they got past the, I would say, flounder around the Baron Pit, G2 turned it on and won this game. And you can see the disappointment on the faces of Rogue here. They were so close to winning this series in this Game 5. But G2, when you catch out that Draven on his own, you know that you're winning this game. And G2 turned up. That's all I have to say. G2 turned up. They executed perfectly in these late game team fights. Wunder, for me, player of the series, hands down. He's a phenomenal player. And we saw why people rate him so highly as a player. But that's going to be it for this episode of the Anarchy Analysis full Gamecast. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're around here if you want to. And I will be seeing you guys later. Peace out.